Shinkai's Weathering with You was just actually better than Kimi no Nawa. So what's up guys, Foxen here. Shinkai's latest movie is officially out here in Japan, Tenki no Ko, also known as Weathering with You. So time for my non-spoiler review. How does this compare to Shinkai's Your Name movie? And yes, this will have light comparisons to Kimi no Nawa, which is honestly unavoidable. For me, I personally loved Kimi no Nawa. And yes, it's actually possible to love both things. So at least for this video, you know that I'm coming from a place of love. And if you haven't seen Kimi no Nawa yet, I definitely recommend it. Just in case, I won't include the huge spoiler here about it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Be sure to subscribe and give this a shining thumbs up. As always, you could go ahead and ask spoiler questions down below. By the way, I have gotten a request for a follow-up spoiler video, but unfortunately these anime movies in general don't get much interest. So let's say if this gets 3k plus likes, I'll go ahead and do a quick spoiler talk video. Talk about Kimi no Nawa, there's actually a reference to Kimi no Nawa in Weathering with You. In fact, you actually got two pretty obvious ones. Just know that the Japanese audience did go crazy for these, which really doesn't happen often in a Japanese theater. So let's get into the story, Weathering with You, the 100% Hare Onna, which means something like the girl that can make it sunny, 100% success rate, or really the 100% sunshine girl. You got this guy Hodaka traveling to Tokyo during his summer high school break. Hodaka was searching for something for a certain reason that'll be revealed in the movie. Eventually he ends up working part-time for these two interesting individuals. Then one rainy day, fate leads this guy into running into this 100% sunshine girl Hina. So getting into something that a lot of you are wondering, compared to Kimi no Nawa, this is much more of a love story, a much more developed one. You do get the pretty obvious pair couple being set up, only this time they actually spend a good amount of time together. For plot reasons, you really couldn't have much of that in Kimi no Nawa. After Kimi no Nawa, a lot of people were expecting Weathering with You to have this huge twist too. And just thinking about my first time watching that movie, when the twist came, I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach, or like gave my balls a hard flick. I'll just say that I don't consider this a spoiler, so just know there's nothing like that in Weathering with You. You do get natural reviews and unexpected turns here and there, but nothing at all like the stuff in Kimi no Nawa. On the flip side, surprisingly for Weathering with You, it does have several moments in this movie where it just had me thinking, how the hell do you get out of this? Either one, you're totally screwed, or you could take option B, but then if you do that, your life may never be the same if you go that route. For this, I really appreciated these edge of your seat moments where I really wasn't expecting them to happen. Getting into the Weathering with You cast, starting with Hina. So she's obviously the female lead of this movie, almost 18 years old. Looking back at this, she was mature at times, but also a little bit naive. For example, you do have Hina working pretty hard since she's living alone with her younger brother. On the flip side, you often see Hina doing some things that she should really know better than to do. At the start of the movie, I really did appreciate Shinkai setting up this couple with Hina being the older one here. Hina does end up being awfully kind, and even more surprisingly understanding at times. Perhaps this is all due to her background growing up, and especially the situation she experienced within the last year. Hina really is your average Japanese girl, just trying to pay rent and really get by in this busy Tokyo day-to-day life. One day, for some reason, she gained the power to turn rain into sunshine. Switching it over to Hodaka Murishima. This guy is a 16-year-old high school student. Originally, this guy is not from Tokyo, but visiting. So this time, Shinkai has actually swapped the role of the guy and the girl. Hina is from Tokyo, and Hodaka is the one from this remote location outside of the Tokyo area. Hodaka is surprisingly honest. I mean, he does try to hide stuff occasionally, but completely fails when his red face gives his true intentions away. He also is pretty innocent at times, but then again does get pretty proactive when the time calls for it. I also really did love the chemistry between Hina and Hodaka. It feels so sweet and innocent. Getting into the side characters, you have Hina's brother. So oh my god, this guy is Mr. Popular. I actually thought this guy would end up being that annoying little genius type of kid. Turns out, great thing he wasn't. After the whole movie was over, I actually wish he was in this a little bit more. As for the manager and his assistant lady, I'm just gonna go ahead and group these two together. Both of these two are flawed characters, which does make them feel more real. Yes, they do have their own issues and baggage. The girl here actually reminds me a lot of Misato from Evangelion. Let me also not forget about the kitty cat. You do have this adorable little kitty called Ame, meaning rain. I was thinking they would push this guy a lot more just to sell some merch related to this kitty, which actually does exist. Turns out Ame actually wasn't as much in the movie as I predicted. I'll just go ahead and say that I definitely loved the scenes whenever he appeared, even if he wasn't the main focus. Next up, the animation. So you have everyone talking about the beautiful, gorgeous animation for Weathering with You. I could definitely assure you this lives up to expectations. If you've been watching a while, you know I'm a massive fan for water-related stylistic animation. In this movie, you have so many rich scenes involving rain, whether that's light or massive, but also don't forget about these breathtaking sun scenes. If you at all love weather animation, this is a must-watch movie for you. On the flip side, I should mention that unlike Kimi no Na wa, where you did get some very stylized scenes for things like Mitsuha's background, unfortunately you really don't have something like that here. There was actually a Japanese element that Shinkai could have played with for certain things like that, but it didn't happen. As for the music, this is another aspect that'll deeply be compared to Kimi no Na wa, which is really no surprise since you do have Radwimps returning. After seeing Weathering with You twice and listening to the soundtrack even more after the movie, both of the soundtracks are great to listen to. However, if you do want to pick a winner, that would go to the Kimi no Na wa soundtrack. I really felt that soundtrack embodied certain scenes much better. Just listening to certain pieces immediately takes you back to that specific scene from the movie. Now compare that to the Weathering with You soundtrack. I almost never got that feeling. Still, the music felt like it blended nice with the given scene, but it didn't stand out much in a good or bad way. Despite me saying that, there's actually a couple of standout songs, two of which you've actually already gotten a taste of from the trailer. Those are what I'm talking about. The sound flavor there instantly takes you back to two very impactful scenes. I do also have to give a quick mention to the amazing sound direction here, really for anything involving the rain. From the sound of the raindrops hitting the ground or Hina's umbrella, to the thunder going off in the distance. It reminded me of some of the amazing sound effect work for the SAO Ordinal Scale movie. As for other little things I enjoyed, I actually really love Shinkai's usage of smartphones here. They technically did play a bigger role in Kimi no Na wa due to certain reasons, but I liked how Weathering with You presented them and didn't shy away from them. Like, oh, I need to find this nearby location, let me quickly check the bus route. It doesn't take over the scene, and it even adds to the visual in their own way, sometimes adding color to a shot, or sometimes serving to contrast against the already colorful background. Another thing I really like, which may sound like a weird one, were the transitions. Throughout Weathering with You, Shinkai often switched to a new scene, he made it go black and held it for a little longer than normal. During this time, you could actually hear the sound of the weather from the next scene playing first. Then a few seconds later, the new scene actually comes into scene. This added a really nice touch and only once did the screen go white instead of black. Keep an eye out for that moment. This third thing I really enjoyed really hits home for me, which is really just for me ever since moving to Tokyo. I've actually been experiencing living with the rain on a daily basis. In fact, it's actually been raining almost non-stop for this last week or two. I'm originally from California where it rains like never, so this is a new experience. And just before seeing Weathering with You the first time, it was raining a little bit. Then coming out of it, tada, sunny. Just a nice little bonus for me. Anyway, let's get into the juicy topic. Did I cry? Did this movie make me wet? And I know why you're asking. In other words, will you cry in this? The answer to that is that it depends. Did you cry in Shinkai's past movies? Were you crying your balls out for Kimi no Na wa? So I really have no problem admitting if an anime touched me in a certain way, which is why I could honestly say I did not cry here. At most, I got a little emotional for a couple of scenes. Sometimes those being difficult scenes, or sometimes those being gorgeous ones here and there. That was my first experience anyway. For the second time watching it, there were actually two scenes between Hina and Hodaka that got me tearing up, especially the first scene. I could also tell you that now, I do get a little choked up watching the second trailer, since really those two song pieces now carry much more meaning for them. Getting into another juicy topic, the ending. After the first showing ended, I was surprised there was actually applause. So in case you've never seen a movie here, I've been to so many movies here in Japan, non-anime and anime stuff. I haven't yet witnessed any applause at the end yet. Even for something like Avengers, which I saw like 3 times. Who knows, perhaps people were too busy crying at the end of that one. Which is why I was really happy to see this out of all movies to get some applause at the very end. As for whether this was a happy or sad ending, again, I'm gonna keep this non-spoiler. Let me just go ahead and try to be vague about it. If you're here for the love story, you do get more out of this than Kimi no Na wa. I actually didn't tear up at the end or walked out of this feeling sad of Weathering with You. Instead, it had me thinking for a good while, which I do expect it will be similar for a lot of you. What would you have done if you were in a similar situation? Would you have changed your answer once you found out the consequences of your actions? I do believe Shinkai himself mentioned something about expecting people to be more critical of Weathering with You compared to Kimi no Na wa, which is why a lot of people are wondering whether this will have a controversial ending. For me, I think describing the ending as something controversial, that seems way too strong and harsh of a word. Instead, I think it'll have people thinking about it and hopefully discussing it. If anything, I'm predicting a bigger point of discussion will be the comparison to Shinkai's last two films. You know, Kimi no Na wa versus Weathering with You, which was better? Alright, so a lot of good stuff. Were there any negatives? I found 3 that were not really issues for me, but I'll be surprised if they're not either complaints or weaker points that some of you may have or other people. Potential negative number 1. How fitting, something to do with the ending. Without giving it away, you could argue that it almost feels like Shinkai chose to go a certain route for this ending, just because the story ends here for our characters. In other words, at the end of this, you do have some serious consequences. Although on the flip side, it's not like the characters really have to deal with this stuff on screen. The movie is over. Just like Kimi no Na wa, I would like to see a short follow-up to this, something like a short book or even a manga version. What happens next? It would actually be a huge plus on Shinkai's part if his next movie tackles something similar with a new couple. Potential negative number 2, something I've hinted about. From the start of this, you do spend a good amount of time until you actually reach the main obstacle of the movie. I want to say over an hour, maybe an hour and 20, hour and 15. It really is mostly sunshine and rainbows until the dark cloud for this movie pops up. This point itself really serves as a contrast to Kimi no Na wa, where you have this constant issue of the body swapping until the big impact happens. Potential negative number 3, something I touched on earlier, which was the music. This being the same group is going to get a constant comparison to Kimi no Na wa's soundtrack. For almost every one of Kimi no Na wa's soundtrack pieces, I could easily tell you at least on a high level which scene is connected with. On the flip side, for the Weathering with You soundtrack, except for maybe a handful, they do sound pretty similar. Most of them don't have this unique thing that really makes them stand out, at least for me. Let me just stress that this is not due to me having watched Kimi no Na wa a few more times. This was also something that wasn't a personal issue for me, but I'll be surprised if this isn't a point of discussion that pops up. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get into it. Kimi no Na wa versus Weathering with You, which was a better one? The one stronger point of Kimi no Na wa was the fact that you got this grand twist in the middle, which almost no one figured out. Leading up to that was this constant mystery about things going on. Out of anything, that should have left a huge impact on you. Switching it to Weathering with You, there is no colossal twist. You do have some mystery that's present to some extent, but definitely not on the same level as Kimi no Na wa. Another huge deciding factor should be the setting for the movies. You actually have the best of both worlds for Kimi no Na wa, 2 different locations from Japan. On the other hand, for Weathering with You, you really are stuck in this concrete jungle for all of it. Which either of these really aren't necessarily a bad thing. It really depends on your preference. You get 2 different parts of Japan highlighted. For me, I'm very much more familiar with the Tokyo area, especially places like Shinjuku, which were showcased a lot in this movie. Honestly, I freaking love this part of Weathering with You. It really touched really close for me, literally. I mean, if you've ever been to Japan yourself, you've definitely gotten to Shinjuku at least once too. That said, one day I would like to explore and get more familiar with Japan's countryside much more. But anyway, in the end, they're so damn close. Honestly, even after seeing Weathering with You twice, I don't think I could choose one or the other. It really is a coin toss. Which means, what am I in the mood for? A more impactful story and better music? I would go with Kimi no Na wa. Better visuals, sound, and a more developed love story? Weathering with You. I really am predicting anime fans to be split down the middle. I just hope it doesn't turn into this negative pull. I'm also predicting this is not going to be anywhere as near as popular or be that massive hit that Kimi no Na wa was. Let me also mention this. After hearing about Shinkai's next anime movie combined with seeing the second trailer, I started to wonder, could this actually be anime of the year for me? So, after seeing it twice, I could safely say that it's not. Right now, there's a couple of other contenders for that spot. Although on a positive note, this is definitely in my top 10 right now. I could actually easily see Weathering with You be anime of the year for a lot of anime fans. Which, by the way, a reminder on the spoiler talk. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up. If this gets 3k plus likes, I'll definitely make that happen. Anyway, let me hear from you. Post down below. Do you want to watch Weathering with You? Does it sound better than Kimi no Na wa? Definitely do check out my recent review for the Bunny Girl Senpai movie and Trigger Studios' Promare movie. More juicy anime reviews coming, and I'll see you guys later.